you are back campaigning for 2024. Tell me why you landed on State Senate District 17 and your platform.
Well, the legislature has taken our state in a dangerous direction. We know that families are being gouged out of affordable housing and they're being rent gouged. We have millions of Floridians who are being pushed off of healthcare through Medicaid. And we have a massive public school teacher shortage that has been made worse by a legislature that has turned our classrooms into political battlefields. We deserve to have champions in Tallahassee who care about people, but also who care about solving real issues, Justin, and that's not what we have now. We need a new legislature, not one that is obsessed with culture wars and with solving problems that do not exist. That's why I'm running. I was born and raised in Florida. I love my community. I love this state, and I'm not willing to give up on it. That's why I'm throwing my hat back into the ring to be the next senator from Central Florida for District 17. And I'm someone who a lot of folks know and trust. I have served in Tallahassee in the State House for 6 years. We have fought for the issues that matter to address real crises that are happening in the state of Florida. But I'm also running to give people hope, to give them hope that they can still elect leaders in Florida who care about the issues and who are driven by unifying principles like equality, like freedom, like dignity and respect for every person, regardless of their income, their race, their religion, their sexual orientation, or their gender identity. That's the more inclusive Florida that we are fighting for, and that's why I'm running for state senate.
In 2022, in the midterms, you were a victim of redistricting, and you were defeated by Susan Placencia, 52 to 48. I don't want to harp too much about this, but I do want to get your reaction to how that felt, and really how it felt sitting out this past legislative session where so many bills that went in the GOP's favor were passed.
Well, it was very frustrating because what I watched from afar was that the supermajority Republicans in the state House and in the state Senate, led by Ron DeSantis, used their supermajority to fight culture wars and to make us less safe. And that included passing laws like permitless carry in the state of Florida, which allows for any person to be able to carry a firearm secretly in public without a criminal background check or without any sort of training. We know that these types of extreme policies will make our state less safe. And we have to ask ourselves, what has the supermajority in Tallahassee done with this unprecedented power? Have they used it to actually make people's lives better, to solve real problems like the property insurance crisis that Floridians are facing right now? Have they done it to help protect our environment or solve real issues? They haven't. They have used it to prop up Governor Ron DeSantis and his presidential ambitions and to solve problems that don't exist.
The governor likes to say Florida is where woke goes to die. Depends on who you ask what woke means. How do you define woke?
Well, apparently the governor's own attorneys have struggled to define what woke means when they've been in court defending so many of their unconstitutional policies. The reality is that his war on woke has translated into censorship, academic censorship, not only in our K-12 public schools, but also in higher education, in our state colleges and universities. New laws that not only restrict the types of academic freedoms that have made our state university system strong, but actually censor the types of topics that grown adults in universities and in state colleges can learn about. And that is not something that is good for our state. It has meant that we have seen less academics who are willing to apply for these positions in higher education in the state of Florida that really help grow our economy, grow a talented and educated workforce. We're going to see a lot of negative consequences in the long run as a result of this so-called war on woke, which, by the way, is a war that Governor Ron DeSantis is losing. We keep seeing over and over again more and more courts have struck down so many of these unconstitutional laws. We see that Disney is winning, we see that drag queens are winning, that trans people are winning in court, and this is all Ron DeSantis becoming a loser on these culture wars that he's actually using to get people to support him in his run for president.
Do you feel Florida is still a safe state to live in for members of the LGBTQ community, specifically trans folks?
Well, the reality is that in Orlando, we do kind of live in a bubble. We live in a bubble where we have strong mayors and strong leaders like Buddy Dyer, the mayor of Orlando, and other elected leaders who have made inclusion and safety for LGBTQ people a priority for them. But we have so many state laws that obviously don't exempt Central Florida or don't exempt Orange County. For example, we have laws that make it a crime for a trans person to use a restroom in a government building. We have new laws that take away the ability of trans people to be able to access generally accepted and widely accepted healthcare that is life-saving. And so what we're seeing is some conventions, some businesses, they are pulling out of the state of Florida because they don't believe that their participants want to be in a state that is so hateful and that is promoting homophobia and transphobia so loudly. But it's not even just the conventions, Justin. These culture wars that Governor Ron DeSantis is running on have not only ruined people's lives, made them more vulnerable to discrimination, it's also costing us jobs. Disney just pulled the plug on a $1 billion economic development deal in Lake Nona that is in Senate District 17, the district that I'm running in. So he's not only ruining lives with this, he's tanking our economy, and we need real leaders in Tallahassee who are going to be serious about solving problems.
It seems like Florida, though, is on board with this action, or from the statistics point of view of it. If you look back at the 2022 midterms, a historic landslide victory for the governor, 20-point victory over Charlie Crist. And is that reflective, in your opinion, of the electorate and where they stand today on these issues?
I don't think it's reflective of where they stand today. What we saw in 2022 was Democrats stayed home. They did not turn out at the rate that Republican voters in Florida did, and we saw, unfortunately, what the consequences were for that. What we have seen since the 2022 November elections is we saw city and county elections in Jacksonville and Duval County, where Democrats won in landslides, not only for mayor of Jacksonville, but also for a lot of the city races and the county races. It was practically a sweep for Democrats. What does that say about our prospects and our chances? I think it says that there is hope that Florida Democrats will be able to be competitive in a lot of different places in the state, including in places that are traditionally red, like Duval County, but also that Governor Ron DeSantis and the supermajority in the legislature, the Republicans, their extreme policies have really turned voters off in a way that is turning people back towards Democrats.